Hey everyone, welcome to Must Read Monday. My name is Dabney. I'm the young adult librarian with the Twin Lakes Libraries, and I use they, them pronouns. For today's episode, I'm going to be talking about our book club selection for October, which is The Corruption of Hollis Brown by Ancrum. First of all, this review is going to have spoilers. And I just have to say, this is probably my favorite book I've read this year. I loved it so much. I just zoomed through it. Ancrum is an amazing author. If you haven't read any of her books, definitely give them a shot. I feel like there's going to be something to appeal to anyone, whether you like, fantasy, if you like horror, if you like mystery. And what she does really well, is capturing the lives of teens who are kind of really going through it in a variety of ways. Whether that's mental health struggles, parental neglect or abuse, just kind of growing up in situations where they're basically doing everything they can to survive and get by and make life better for themselves. So Hollis is the main character, obviously, and he has been growing up in this small town, and it's really a dead-end town. There's not jobs, there's not career prospects. If you want to be able to support yourself, support your family, basically you have to leave the town, which is the case with his father. He has to leave and work and then kind of come back on the weekends or when he can. And Hollis realizes this. He knows that he knows what to look forward to in his life, and it's pretty bleak, and he's unhappy about it, as are, a lot of other people in the town. And one way he kind of finds relief is picking fights with other people specifically so he can get beat up. Yeah. Not the best coping mechanism. So this starts out with him actually picking a fight with a classmate, kind of saying mean things to set this guy off. And so, people in Hollis's life, they see these behaviors and they're this isn't right. This isn't how you should be acting, but at the same time, he's kind of closed off to listening to what other people have to tell him. So basically he just has two best friends, Annie and Yulia, who are awesome, by the way. You couldn't ask for better best friends. They're definitely ride or dies, as you find out further in the book. So Hollis is going through it, and one evening he runs into this guy named Walt, who he assumes is a homeless teen living in the woods. And, they both kind of have this moment of hey, you're not doing too good. And it's you're not doing too good. And they're kind of talking it out, what their situation is. And Walt is well, I'll make a deal with you. You give me a safe place to live or whatever, and I can help you with your problems. And Hollis, he doesn't really care about being helped, but he doesn't want to see another teen being homeless and suffering, so he just makes the deal because he's he doesn't really want anything out of it. He just wants to help this guy, right? But he doesn't know that Walt is a ghost, and he's basically agreed to let Walt possess his body. So Walt has a new place to live, and that is Hollis. Yeah. What would you do in that situation? Thankfully, though, Walt is a really good guy, and it's a benevolent possession. He is trying to make things better for Hollis while he is occupying Hollis's body. Whether that's, making him eat better, dress better, be polite to people, really kind of go out of his way to be a nicer person, a more likable person, because he's kind of like, that is something that can work in your favor, right? Getting people to like you. And Hollis is like, I don't want people to like me. So a lot of people just are kind of like, wow, this Hollis guy, yeah, he's turned over a new leaf, right? His best friends are like, this is sus, like, this is not Hollis, like, what is going on? But Hollis is not aware that his friends are plotting, and as this possession goes on longer, they are able to communicate. Like, Walt is the one speaking, right? He is in control of the body. So he's like out there having conversations with these people that Hollis knows, and he's like, Hollis is like, don't flirt with my friends, and don't say that weird stuff to people, which would be like exacerbating. But anyways, so that's kind of like what's going on. But as they're talking, and as Hollis is starting to get to know more about Walt and kind of test the limits of the possession, like he's trying to break free, they eventually get to an understanding, and it becomes like more of an equal balance between them, and like, Walt possessing his body, but Hollis also being able to use his body. Like, there's definitely rules and there's boundaries, and it becomes more of like we are helping each other out in this very weird situation, and that kind of continues, and they become closer and closer until they develop feelings for each other. Which, like, what do you do if you're in love with a ghost who's inside your body? You will find out in this book. It is very weird and beautiful and sweet and sad, and just like definitely a unique read, for many reasons, but like for me mostly that. I was like, oh my goodness, like, as somebody who loves like the Venom movies, like this was like hitting the things I love a lot about those movies. If you can hear music in the background, so sorry. Exciting times. Anyways, so yeah, it's great, and most of the focus at first is on Hollis, and then later on it becomes more about Walt, and it becomes about them researching like Walt's past and trying to find out like how that is connected to this town that's like not Hollis's like town, but the one right next to it, which is like abandoned and cursed, and like no one can go there, right? Like bad things happen. Even though like it's kind of like a garden over there, like there's all these fruit trees growing. Hollis sneaks over there sometimes to kind of forage some food for his family, but it's like you can't be there after dark, like it's not safe. But that curse has something to do with Walt and his past, and it does a lot. I don't want to say too much more, but it is just such a good story, like amazing character work. Like, it's kind of like horror, it's kind of fantasy, it's also like very much like real life, working class like struggles. And I will say one thing I really loved about this town is, though, even though everyone's kind of struggling to make it, there's also like a lot of community support for each other. Like they'll have little markets where it's like you're buying from other people in the community, and it's really beautiful. And also I just want to say there's lots of recipes in this book. We made the gingerbread brownie recipes here at the library yesterday. It was a hit. Everyone loved them. Everyone took home recipes, and everyone said like how much their families enjoyed it because they made enough to take home, and I thought that was awesome, and that felt very in the spirit of what this book is about, is, making good food, sharing it with those you love, sharing it with your community. And really this book is about, learning to love yourself, and it's amazing. 10 out of 10.